Oh, Zach, my boy, you've done it. So anyway, Zach pulls it off. I don't know if it's so much Zach pulls it off or did Alpine drop it off and Zach was there to catch the ball as it passed through the receiver's hands and make the interception and head back for the pick six. All right. If you don't know what that is, you need to know, because Russell Wilson, Lewis Hamilton is part of the Broncos organization now as a partial owner. So you all are going to have to get to know a little bit more about American football like I do European football, although I coached it for like 4 or 5 years in youth sports. Had a good time, loved it. Matter of fact, I just saw one of my parents in the grocery store the other day, and they asked me if I was going to come back. Matter of fact, they pleaded with me if I could please come back. The girls have not been right since. Whenever I get into something, I get into it. But anyway, this is about Zach and his win, McLaren and their win, Oscar and their win, Alpine and their loss, but maybe not so much more as people might think. Oscar's unproven. That's just a fact. I'm not hating. I'm not trying to say he's not going to do well. I'm just saying that he's unproven. That is a fact. Daniel Ricciardo is proven, although he hasn't proven much to McLaren since they've got him. I definitely don't think he's reached the expectations that they thought they were paying for. Like I said before in several other videos, I'm not hating on Daniel. I like Daniel as a driver. I like Daniel as a person from what I see from afar. Daniel has turned out to be that lame duck stripper dance that you pay $20 for and they barely want to bust a move. A butt cheek don't even really jiggle. That is kind of what Daniel has become to McLaren, and that is an unwanted situation. I feel like, he's just wasting my money, wasting my time. I got glitter all over my damn shit, and it wasn't worth all that. It wasn't worth it. So that's kind of where Daniel's been. And now Alpine feeling slighted by Oscar, although I would say Alpine probably slighted Oscar first. And I say that because Alpine had an opportunity for somebody that they feel they have invested a certain amount of money and financials into, and time and training and sim and track, all this time that Otmar has been speaking to. But yet you all were willing to sit Oscar on the bench or ship him off to Williams instead of giving him that seat in 2023. You also may have slighted Oscar first by him finding out, or maybe it being, divulged to the public, that you were going to give Alonso not only the opportunity to have 2023, but given his performance was maybe where Alpine thought it should be, you were going to allow him to come in another year. Although those contracts were year to year, you still were basically giving him the incentive of, if you do well this 2023, we are likely to bring you back 2024, which means that puts Oscar out of an Alpine seat for another 2 years or 2 seasons, however you want to look at it. And that probably was not a great situation for Oscar mentally or emotionally, or even a boost to his integrity. If you're saying that he's that hot shot, he's your future, why are you then delaying him further and further for Alonso, who obviously is definitely on the backside of his career, when that career will end, when Alonso will walk out of the door like Sebastian Vettel has at this point in time? Who knows, right? We don't even know if Seb is going to come back. Seb might come back. Retirements don't work the same these days. But the point is, Alpine made a few mistakes in my decision, and Oscar also may have made some mistakes in my opinion as well. Alpine made a mistake by not believing in Oscar and putting him in that seat for the next year, saying up front, Alonso, we're not going to renegotiate. We're not going to renew your contract. We're not going to extend you. Oscar is our future. We're going to give you 2022, but in 2023, we're going to move forward, and we're going to move forward with Piastri and Lando. That is our team for 2023. Feel free to look out amongst the grid and find you another contract or another seat. We wish you the best, and maybe even facilitate that. But Alonso probably doesn't need that. He's a vet in the game. He's been here long enough, 2-time world champion. All right. And with the crash gate situation, he's had a lot of experience in Formula One. I'm pretty sure Alonso can do his own thing like he did, because that's exactly what Alonso did. Alonso took off on you all after those negotiations, and you thought you had Alonso locked up. Alonso took off on you in the middle of the night with all of the groceries, left the front door open. You didn't have the remote. You didn't have a TV. You didn't have the recliner. You woke up to a house that had tracing where furniture had once belonged, and Alonso took that to Aston Martin on you. And then Alpine, like I said before, you try to preempt this launch and say, hey, we're giving it to Oscar now. Well, that's kind of like you have a date. You have 2 people that you're picking to go out on a date on. You choose one. That person doesn't show up. You try to call the other one for a slide in. Well, whatever that person may know, they might not be cool with that slide in. No, you're out there on your own. I like the fact that you got stood up. Enjoy it. And that's what Oscar did to Alpine. Now I'm going to talk about the fact that, my opinion, that Oscar may have made a mistake but not as big as the mistake that Danny Rick may have made when he left Renault Alpine. And I say that because Oscar, although with a prestigious team in McLaren, there's always a difference when you're with a team like McLaren, like Mercedes, like Ferrari, like Red Bull, versus a team like Aston, like Alpine, like AlphaTauri. There are different Alfa Romeo. There are difference in those, just like the different bottom teams in the Haas and damn Williams. There are differences in those organizations when it comes to patience. Okay. So with Alpine investing so much in Oscar, as far as the money and everything that they put into him, that afforded Oscar, and I can't say for 100% guaranteed certainty it would afford it, but I think it would have, based on how Alpine was heart-struck and broken and talking all this and dishing out disses. I think that it afforded Oscar the ability and the opportunity that if he did not perform well in Formula One, in his Formula One debut, that Alpine would be a little bit more lenient and patient with him to grow into what they hoped and what they invested in him to be. Whereas McLaren has not done that. McLaren has not invested in Oscar in that way, with the time, the training, with the grooming of a Formula One driver from junior team up. McLaren hasn't done that. McLaren's got you because, one, they were going to get rid of Danny Rick because he wasn't performing to their level. Oscar is the hottest thing on the grid when it comes to new untapped potential. There is a dramatic upside there. There's potential for a dramatic upside, but there's also potential for a decline, a disappointment. That's the unknown. That's the Cracker Jack prize with Oscar, but you already know what you have with Danny. Let's take a shot on Oscar. And with that being the case, Oscar, is McLaren going to have that patience for you if you don't live up to expectations like Daniel hasn't lived up to expectations and you see where he is now? I don't think so. All right. Now, do you come in and in this organization bolster or prove to be more liked or manageable than Lando, who has been there, who's definitely going to have seniority on you, right? I don't think so. Lando and Oscar, I don't even think mesh well together. Lando might feel threatened at this point in time. Now, we already know Lando made statements saying that it's not his job to worry about Daniel. It's not his job to worry about another driver's career. He's not a driver's coach. He has to worry about his own career. He doesn't feel any sympathy for the situation that has occurred with Daniel and McLaren. He doesn't give a damn. Well, Daniel may not be your problem anymore, Lando. Oscar may be your problem. What happens if Oscar gets in that seat and proves that even in a McLaren that I think we all can agree has been subpar, proves to be better in that car than Lando? What happens when Lando, who thought he was going to always be or be that number one seat, is then moved to the second seat because Oscar is taking that up? What grows of tensions then? Lando is in a different environment now because he feels like the alpha. He is the certainty right now. That is for sure at this point in time, as we are at the crossroads of Daniel Rick leaving and Oscar coming in. But what happens if Oscar gets in there and establishes dominance? What happens if Oscar gets in there and becomes a threat to Lando? Does Lando then not concern himself with Oscar's career? Do we not start then seeing a division inside of the garage, inside of the teams and the drivers on strategy? Do we not start hearing more radio clamor about team orders for this and for that? What do we see? That is what 2023 is going to be about. Now, all of this stuff makes great TV, especially for the DTS coming up. But not only that, when testing comes about, because both of these drivers should then be in these cars testing out the new McLaren car going into the 2023 season. And we will be here covering that. I will be live for testing when that does happen for both sites. And we're going to see what happens. Now the other question is, where does Danny Rick go? Where does he end up? I don't know. Right now, there's a vacancy at Alpine. Alpine may need to pump their brakes. And once Renault, now Alpine, I think they should consider taking Daniel. Gives them a little bit more time to consider their options. Definitely taking over Daniel's like existing contract of maybe even being like a season. You don't have to stay obligated long. It's the same thing you were going to give Alonso, and you'll be in the same situation. But the only thing is you won't be locked in. If you try to go for Gasly, and that does happen, then Gasly is likely going to want a multi-year deal. Do you really want to be locked into Gasly for multiple years, given Gasly hasn't really shown us like a wow? Like, we're not wowed about Gasly on the track. Think about it. The last few GPs, have we really even talked about Gasly? Gasly. Has Gasly even really been mentioned? Gasly mentioned this week because he commented on Oscar making a mistake leaving Alpine, and Gasly's probably making those comments because he wants to try to court Alpine to give him the opportunity. We've seen Gasly do this before, trying to court Red Bull. Once again, they already dumped you once, trying to slam Lewis Hamilton on several stupid points where we know it's absolutely not true. And that was to be in the favor of Red Bull. You're never getting that seat back. I think they saw you slide. You don't mix, you don't mesh, you don't have the grit that Max Verstappen has in that team. And that's what it would take for you to be there, or it would take you to be totally submissive, but yet have good performance, and you don't have the performance in order to meet those standards. So Red Bull is not an option for Gasly anymore. Gasly will be mid-tier team or less. So Alpine probably will be his next opportunity. And if Alpine does not pan out, he likely will stay with AlphaTauri. And who knows what happens with AlphaTauri, right? There are a lot of things that take place there. I think 3 teams on the grid might be up in the air for talks about acquisitions. Except for Sauber, that would be Audi. Audi is going to come in. Alfa Romeo is going to leave. I'm pretty sure I said that before that even launched, that would likely was going to be the destination of choice. The other 3 teams is there are certain small talks, and I do mean small talks about AlphaTauri becoming a team that may be up for sale. Now, who acquires that team? Maybe Honda? Maybe, you know what I'm saying? And maybe with that being the case, Gasly stays there. Separate team, separate colors, separate livery. All power units probably going to stay the same, definitely stay the same if it's Honda, but maybe changes are happening over Red Bull given the Porsche deal and supposed Red Bull powertrain deal that, I mean, when are we going to see this powertrain? Who the hell knows? I think Red Bull powertrains are probably trash and they're never going to hit the grid. But other than that, you got Haas and you got Williams, and we know Williams owned by Dorilton, which is a financial institution here in America. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but more like Haas. Will Haas become up for sale? And then you got mixed in with Andretti. Andretti talk still kind of circling about. So there's a lot of things that can move. There's a lot of things that can happen. And then you got Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher is going to be up. Ferrari Driver Academy definitely cut ties with him, which I can understand why. I mean, he hasn't been driving for Ferrari. He's driving for Haas. It's likely that he might not end up being with Haas. But is it possible, like I've said before, that a German driver meets up with a German manufacturer and a German team to be on the grid as a trifecta there, okay? Audi will come into Formula One not only being a German manufacturer, having a German power unit, but they also could have a German driver. Whether that is Mick or speculations, I think that Vettel comes out of retirement to do that as a ceremonial season. Who knows? Retirements don't work the same as we always thought they did once. They don't work the same now. So those are some of the things that are up in the air. But as to Oscar, as to Daniel Rick, as to Lando, those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you think below in the comment section. Give me a comment. Give me a shout out. Let me know how you think things will pan out. Let me know how you think the chemistry might mix between Lando and Oscar. Let me know where you think Daniel might go. All of that good stuff. Let's have a conversation. Don't forget, we're going to be live tomorrow for qualifying. We're going to be live Sunday post-race to have highlights, talk crap. I might even be drunk on the show. That's what we do here. I pop bottles on podiums. And then also members will meet later in the Wolves Den for the Zoom meet, where we'll then talk a lot of stuff. And I also will have a guest coming, reoccurring guest who's been here before in the Wolves Den. I will post that information once everything is locked in. We will have a good time with that guest as we've had before with that guest. Good talk, good conversations, good time, all that stuff. If you're not a member of the channel, consider it. It's like literally it is less than $5 per month. You get access to the Zoom meet. You get access to the custom emojis. You get access to different posts that everybody else won't get. You get to select and choose things. And plus, I will be coming out with Wolves Den t-shirts. And once you are here for 6 months, I will ship you a shirt out. Okay. And we do a great job having a good family member. And we have getting a more diverse relationship and family member organization with different fans, different people that support different teams. And that's a wonderful thing about that. So anyway, subscribe, like, share, comment. Peace. Thanks for watching another episode of Wolfpack Performance. Don't forget to check out some of my other content on Formula One and motorsports topics. Like, share, subscribe, and we go live on the weekends. See you soon.